The success interview that you're about to watch with Scott Yeski is completely different from all the other success interviews that we do have on our channel. So basically, Scott learned a ton in the Video Business Academy, but he didn't mainly focus on growing his revenue because he's still working on his feature film as well as his YouTube channel. For him, it was more important to get organized, to have a system in place, to have an actual agency running, and that's exactly what we helped him with. So let's jump right into it. All right, Scott, thank you for taking the time. I'm actually super excited for this one because it's a bit different than our usual success stories in terms of your main takeaways and what you learned, etc. But to give the viewers some insight, like who are you, where are you from, and how long have you been making videos for?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nick. My name's Scott Chesky. I'm originally from Virginia, lived in LA for 6 years, and then I'm the past 2 years I've been in North Carolina. And I've been doing video production and filmmaking since I was 17. So it's been, oh my gosh, 13 years now, professionally.
Nice. Sick. I mean, yeah, we can already see it in your background. I told you off camera already. It looks so sick.
Thanks,
I
man.
love it. Yeah. So let's dive into your story because I think it's really interesting. When you joined the VBA, you were already at a pretty good revenue level, right? It wasn't like you felt like, oh, my business is dying and I need to get help, which is usually the case with
Yep.
videographers. And you didn't like drastically increase your revenue. You still went from what to what back in January? You did how much?
Yeah, so I'd say I was averaging between 7 and 8K a month. And then yeah, now I've increased to I'd say on average 10K a month at least.
Yeah. So you increased your revenue a little bit. You were able to consistently hold that level of like a little bit more than 10K a month, which is good. But what were your main takeaways from the VBA?
Yeah, the main takeaways from doing VBA, I really did not, I realized pretty quickly I did not have amazing systems in place for my business. Um, there was a lot of just kind of letting the clients have everything and sort of letting the clients control the conversations rather than having my own systems in place and sort of beating them to the punch and being like, this is how I do things. And so VBA really helped me clean up systems. There's just so much information on there of organizing the business and getting everything in place. And then time management was huge. I mean, I came in, my biggest concern coming into the program was, I've got two kids. One of them, especially when I started, was a baby. The other's a toddler. And my wife and I both work from home. So we neither of us even have a full 8 hour workday of time in the day to work. So it's really a scramble to get the work done. And there's always things that come up, kids waking up from naps, um, random chores that need to be done, etc. So,
Mhm.
um, or kids opening the door to my office while I'm doing this interview. Yeah, time management was huge.
Yeah. So time management, and I think last time that we spoke, you also said pretty much like organizing yourself and just keeping track of everything in the business as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. Cash flow was a huge one. VBA provides amazing documentation. I mean, for pretty much all their business systems, but they have a cash flow tracker. I am inept when it comes to Excel sheets. My wife is much better at those things, but it was something that I quickly got a handle on. And being able to see not only projections for the upcoming months, but see how I'm doing quarterly, see how I'm doing annually, see next month there's not a ton locked in. You know, I need to start doing some outreach. Was extremely helpful.
Hmm. So would you say like in general, you now have kind of like a better overview and more uh kind of focus while you work because you have the time management down and you have the organizational skills and the systems? Or what would you say, like how has that impacted your life in general?
Definitely. I think, another part of my situation that is unique is, I have goals of making a feature film. I do a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is like, it's essentially a full-time job in of itself, and it's been really taking off this year. And so being able to prioritize properly, you guys always say in the program, like everyone has the same amount of time in the day, but it like comes down to prioritization and really scheduling the things that are a priority to you. And I found also that, you can schedule something into your calendar, but you can also cheat on your calendar. And
Yeah.
so I learned often that I was cheating on my calendar. I'd have things blocked in, and it's like that wasn't how I was spending the time.
Hmm.
So that was a huge thing, was like really dialing in the calendar, really blocking off times. If I needed to do YouTube, block in the time, but actually be realistic of like, it's going to take this amount of time. And doing that for everything that's a priority to me. And then starting to see, oh, you know, there's not as much time for certain things that are priorities to me, or maybe there's a little more time for these things than I thought there was, or maybe I'm spending too much time on this. Um, Again, similar to the cash flow tracker, like I had just more visibility by managing my calendar properly.
Hmm. It's funny that you say it because usually creative people they don't use calendars because it's like they feel like it forces them into that strict day-to-day routine that they would have in a 9 to 5, but now they're finally their own boss and they don't want to work after calendar. So it's
Yeah,
interesting that you bring it up because it was the same for me when I started. I didn't want to use a calendar. I felt like, oh, I'm trapped in that now and everything. And now it actually saves me so much time because I literally can prioritize what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And I
yeah,
just have to wake up and follow whatever is in my calendar. I think that's the
yeah,
same for you now, right?
totally, 100%.
Oh, that's good. With the feature film that you want to do, like what is that goal that you're going after? Because many other videographers have the same goal. They want to have a successful business like you have one, but then they still want to go and do like one of their big passion projects or build a YouTube channel like you do. What would you say? First of all, what's the goal of that feature film?
Yeah, I mean, it's been my dream since I was 3 years old to make movies, and I did sort of the LA route for 7 years, and my foot's still in the door there, and I got representation. That was a big goal when I was there, to get an agent or a manager. But ultimately, like, the hard truth is that even if a production company loves a project, they're not going to let you direct it until you've directed your first movie. Um, and if they do, there's some anomaly, as you just got a ton of heat. So in the past year, I really kind of reckoned with, I have to do this myself. So the goal is essentially to uh, hopefully by January 2025 raise funds. Keep it lean between 50 and 100K, lean enough that I can pay back investors or recoup the costs, which is very doable at that budget. But yeah, the goal is to. I've got a script ready that I've worked on for years. And I'm working on the pitch and the budget, and yeah, the goal really this year is to focus on raising funds for that, and making it happen. And it's not necessarily like you and I had talked previously about, like, it could be a bust. It might not make me any money. It probably won't make me any money, but it's a step that I really like have it in me to take at some point in my life. I really need to tick that box, so it's a dream of mine.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting because here's the thing. Most videographers, most creatives who want to produce a feature film or they want to build a successful YouTube channel or they have a certain passion project that they're working on, the first thing they do is they work on that and they work on that only. And they
Hmm.
forget kind of like their finances, they forget to make money, or they
Yeah.
work a 9 to 5, which isn't much better. So, how are you balancing both at the same time? Because you're now doing like 10K a month consistently, but you're still working on that feature film project. You're still having time for the YouTube channel. Like, how are you doing it?
Uh, well, I've been struggling. I mean, to be honest, it's been hard to balance all three of those things: running the business, the YouTube channel, and the film. What I'm really trying to crack, and I think I'm honing in on it, is how to make those things serve one another. So how do I make enough revenue that it is still freeing me up time and is still in service of both those things? How do I start making some revenue from YouTube? How do I build an audience from YouTube that will be in service of the film ultimately? Because if I'm doing the film independently, you know, it's better to have an audience built in, to have some fans, even if it's 1,000 people. That's a huge leg up. So in terms of the time, it has been a closer, especially as through YouTube I've been getting some brand deals. I've even been using some, it's not huge sums of money yet, but through even VBA strategies, been doing some of that tiered pricing, because a lot of the times, frankly, brands want to pay pennies for a 60 to 90-second ad read, and I'll kind of give them some tiers, and they'll maybe do the middle or low range of what I'm asking for, but hey, I'm making some money for something I'd be doing for free. So it's figuring out how to make those things all in service of one another. And honestly, yeah, it has been a struggle, but I think it's been honing in a little more. And then for the business side, um, I've been trying to decouple some of the work that I've been doing from my time. So there were a lot of contracts that I was doing that were exclusively hourly contracts. And so a couple of my clients I've gone back to and been like, hey, my business doesn't do hourly anymore, but I've postured it to them in a way that is in service of them too. Of like, hey, you can budget for this. All the pricing. You'll get X amount of deliverables. I've got a team that can make this quicker than I could do it myself. I'll be doing all the quality control. Everything goes through me. So being able to like also do those resells in order to free up my time has been helpful as well.
So you pretty much used like all aspects of the VBA, right? You implemented all the things, or or you picked the things that were needed for your business at this stage. Um, if you implemented the tiered pricing and the going from hourly rates to like fixed project pricing or value-based pricing, how did your clients react to that? Because many people, they fear increasing their prices or switching their prices from like hourly to project rates, or value-based. How was that for you?
Um, I think, my particular client that I have in mind responded really well to it. And part of it was just the professionalism, the organization, and the value sell of, um, hey, we're not just going to be doing ad hoc random, here's a video, edit it for X amount per hour anymore. Here's a plan, here's a strategy. And I started that. It was kind of fortunate because I hadn't heard from this client for a long time. And then I did, and I was like, and they were like, hey, we got some stuff. And I was like, hey, I'd love to reconnect and discuss a strategy with you. And then I used the VBA strategy pitch,
Yeah.
and they loved it. And I had three ideas from the strategy pitch, and they chose idea number two. They were like, I really like idea number two. And so I think that a big thing there was just reframing it in a way that is more valuable to them, and also like it's a world class company, like really selling them on like this is a world class offering, not like what are we doing kind of ad hoc stuff here. And they, I think, saw that and saw themselves reflected in that, but I think it also gave them a sense that they were in better hands of like working with more of a professional essentially.
Mhm. Yeah, makes complete sense. Makes complete sense, and great job on implementing that. Um, Question. Let's say somebody watches this right now, right? They're going like, okay, cool. So Scott apparently has a successful video business. Apparently he is making it work with his feature film, and apparently he runs his YouTube channel and he does all these amazing things. And I somehow can't. Why can I not do it? What would you tell such a filmmaker or videographer to inspire them? Somebody who starts, they're making maybe 1K a month, 2K a month, 3K a month, right? But they're just struggling to make it work.
Hmm. That's a really good question. I think a huge thing is like something that clicked for me even in the past year is just seeing the value that you bring and really honing in on what that is. You know, I think especially in the era of like AI and genericism and iPhone videos and stuff, it's like at the end of the day, you need to bring specific point of view, specific voice, and specific value to everything. Otherwise, you are obsolete as a video maker. You know, like video makers are a dime a dozen unless you have something that only you can bring to the table. And so I think that that is a big thing to hone in on and identify, but also uh, fold into a value proposition. And then I think believing that you are worthy of that value because, you know, if like a videographer, if they're making 1K a month, like I just know right off the bat they are way undervaluing themselves. Like
Yes.
on any pricing model, you know, never mind like asking for the sky's the limit, but on any pricing model, like they're losing money doing that. So I know that whoever you are, your value is more than that. And then, yeah, the other advice I would give is just, you know, as creatives, I think there's this idea of like, let me be in la la land all the time with my time and let, you know, creativity hit when it hits, which like, yeah, there are elements of that, you know, but those will be sort of in the margins of your time and be okay with that. Like you go on a walk, take a shower, whatever, that creativity will spark, but it's okay to have structure and organization and a calendar. Like that has been, it seems really stupid and simple, but that's like been such a game
Because it
changer for me.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good words, good inspiration. Totally 100% have your back on that. Okay, where can people see your work and find you online?
Yep. I have an Instagram account. It's Scott Jeske Film. So it's Scott Jeschke Film. And then I have a YouTube channel. It's all both of them are filmmaking and cinematography, storytelling centric. And my YouTube channel is Scott Jeske. Scott
That's the YouTube
Jeske.
channel.
What's that?
That's the YouTube channel.
Exactly, exactly.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, dude, thank you for taking the time and sharing your story. I think many people will take a lot from this, especially because you're handling kind of like three big things at the same time. And you show it's possible, and you show that, okay, you can do it, and you don't have to back down from one of them, right? You just have to balance them based on priorities that you have. So really love seeing that. Thank you for taking the time, and I wish you all the best with these three projects.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this entire success interview. I hope you got inspired and saw what's possible for you as a filmmaker and videographer. Now, if you're serious with your business and you want to take it to $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month and beyond that, while maybe still working on a feature film or a YouTube video or a YouTube channel like Scott did, then just simply click the video around me or the link in the description below to learn exactly how you can build $10,000 a month video business too.